What's up, everyone? Good morning. Good morning, everyone. It's 5:30 a.m. here in California. Another day, man. I had to go out and beat the sun. Had to do it, even though, what is it? Is it a Sunday? Is it a Sunday? Still had to beat the sun. So listen, I'm on my way to the gym. And a lot of you had requested the topic of balance. I know you got a few comments. Just keep in mind, I can't really read the comments while I'm driving. Even though there's no cars out here. Still just not the right thing to do, right? No, I'm not on my way to work. I'm on my way to the gym. So listen, here's the topic I want to talk about. And it was really requested by a lot of you guys, which was the topic of balance. And even more specifically, the topic of balancing the 5 F's. Faith, family, friends, fitness, and finances. So if somebody could type that in the comments for the other people, so I don't have to just keep repeating it. And for those of you that are brand new, just getting to meet me, you probably can't see me. Maybe, I don't know if this will help. This just cast a shadow on me right there, right? And plus, you know, you don't want to drive with that on. But for those of you that are just getting introduced to me, my name is Chris Record, R-E-C-O-R-D. It's my real name, and I'm here to share some value with you. What's up, Keisha? What's up, everybody else? So listen, here's the deal. Faith, family, friends, fitness, and finances. When I share this, a lot of people think that it's like a religious thing, but it's really not. A lot of people think like, oh, that's just probably like a Christian message or something like that. But it's really not. It's not really either of those. It's a message about balancing life, finding more abundance out of balancing things in life. Okay? That's what the message is all about. It's all about figuring out a way to be able to not get too consumed in certain areas of your life. Okay? So faith, family, friends, fitness, and finances. And you notice that in this scenario, finances is 5th. Finances is the last one. That's because finances is usually the easiest one to go to first. Okay? Finances dominate most people's lives. Most people spend a large portion of their life going to work, trading time for money, or being self-employed and being consumed, or being an entrepreneur and stuff like that, right? So most people consume like a large amount of their life involved in the last one, finances. And so what's important, it's like an important lesson for a lot of us to turn around and make that one the least important, still as important as the other ones, but the least important in an order perspective. So I like putting faith first. So let's talk about each one. Now real quick, a lot of you don't know this, but let me give props to the person I first heard this from. I don't know where it originated, but I first heard it from a guy named Chuck Getchell. Chuck Getchell. So I don't know, you don't need to worry about looking him up or anything like that, but he was a $1 million producer in a company back in like the year 2000. I used to get mentored by him. It was a long time ago, and the guy was very, very successful. And I learned it from him. He said, hey, like in that order, these are what's important. So good morning, everybody that's just joining me. My name is Chris Record, and I try to get on every morning if I can and do a morning kind of 5 a.m. scope. I don't like doing it right when I wake up, though. I like doing what I call the Lifesavers program first. So usually I'll spend a little bit of time first in the Lifesavers program. And if you guys aren't aware of the Lifesavers program, you can go and watch my recordings about it. And you can find the recordings at chrisrecord.tv. If someone's able to, just throw that in the comments, chrisrecord.tv, since I'm driving. So today's topic is balance, and even more precisely, it's balance in the 5 F's: faith, family, friends, fitness, and finances. So let's talk about each one, and then let's talk about how I balance those. But faith specifically is about personal development. It's about inner game. It's about you. It's about your meditation. It's about your prayer if you pray. It's about your spiritual relationship if you have a spiritual relationship. It's about this opportunity to help you remember that you're going to be far more abundant and productive in life if you have a purpose. So, faith is in essence, it's like a word like purpose. It's a word like mindset, belief, confidence, purpose, that kind of stuff. It all kind of falls into that faith category for me. So it really comes down to making that first, because faith is like this ultimate foundation. Faith is the ultimate foundation that you can really grow from. Again, a lot of people only choose to see that from a religious perspective. But, you know, even if I was a complete atheist and if I was completely anti-religious, I would still be like, from a business perspective, I'd still be like, that makes total sense. You know what I'm saying? Like having like a foundation that you can build on makes total sense like that. So, I always think it's funny here. It's Sunday morning, 5:30 a.m. and I'm at this big old mega gym, and there's only like 3 cars here, like 4 cars, the whole entire parking lot. I find it funny because on any other day right now, there would be like 150 cars. Everybody wants to get their workout on. So, all right, here I am in the parking lot so I can hang out. Do I like football? I like the San Francisco 49ers. All right, so let's talk about the message. So, actually, let me pull over here. Much better spot. Faith, family, friends, fitness, and finances. Faith, family, friends, fitness, and finances. You guys, it's memorable. You guys can remember it. Faith, family, friends, fitness, and finances. So, here we go. I don't know who's going to win. Sorry. So, the second topic, after you get faith, after you get mindset out of the way, after you get a solid foundation, the second topic there, the second topic is family. Now, the reason that family is second in that list is because, you know, your family should be second. So after, like, faith is like, think about it like this, faith is like you, and that's you if you're like an atheist, and if you're spiritual, it's like you and your spiritual relationship, and if you like to meditate, it's you in deep meditation, and then because it's you, you're working on improving you, so that's like, you know, personal development, inner game mindset. So faith is like you. The next one, family, is now all about your closest people, right? Family. These are people that are all, you know, these are the people that care the most about you. These are the people that when you pass away, these are the people that can be at your funeral. These are the people that you're going to be at their funeral. The weddings, they're going to be at your wedding. You're going to be at their wedding. Family is like family's your core. Even if you're having trouble with your family, if you have family members you don't speak to, or you have family members you're having trouble with, and you have issues and stuff like that, family is that core thing. And when I talk about family, a lot of you guys think that you might be going a little extended. You might be thinking like family as in cousins, and family as in third cousins, and all this kind of stuff. When I'm talking family, I'm talking like my kids and my wife. Okay, your close family, your tight family. I'm talking about like you got your spouse, you got your kids, right? And that is your blood. And then people oftentimes, like I saw a comment here, you can't choose your family, but if you're spiritual, if you're a spiritual person, and if you're somebody who has a belief that there's a reason why things happened, then the thing is that you can always get value out of your family. You can get incredible value out of family that you never even talk to. You can get incredible value out of family you never even see, right? You can live in a complete different part of the world as your family, and you can still get incredible value out of family. So, but for those of you that are spiritual, you know, you could take it another level, and you could say, hey, look, you know, this is the family. Like somebody had said that you can't choose your family, but you can choose your friends. But from a spiritual perspective, it's almost like your family's chosen, right? Because that's blood, and then your friends are chosen by you personally. So it's like your family is chosen through the art of life, and then your friends are chosen through the art of your personal decision of what you want to go out there and who you want to be around, right? So it kind of goes in that. It kind of goes like faith is you. Family is where you begin to make it about others, especially the ones closest to you. So again, don't extend it. For those of you that have family issues, don't allow those family issues to block you from being able to have a complete balance and abundance in your life by making it less important than it really is. Okay? So you've got faith, and then you've got family. That's you, and then that's your extent. You're starting to now extend that to the people that you love the most. And then friends is the next level of extension. And that's the next level of importance and connection. So it's you, and then it's your closest sphere, and then it's your extended sphere, which is your friends. Because when I'm talking about friends, I'm talking about, the type of people that are there for you, the type of people that are loyal, the type of people that that you just enjoy being around, the type of people that the type of people that the next, someone's going to use this for a Bible study. Right on. Appreciate that. So listen, the type of people, so faith, family, and then friends. Friends is like that next level where now you're extending out, and now you're able to now reach even more people in your sphere of balance. Okay, in your sphere of balance, it starts at the core, it starts with you, and then the next level, it starts with your family, and then the next level you reach out and it starts with your friends. So you realize you've got like an ecosystem there of balance, okay? And then from there it goes a little bit further, which is fitness. Now fitness is kind of like you. It's kind of now coming back around, but instead of the inner game, okay, the inner game like spirituality and meditation and personal development and prayer and you, now the physical component is a little bit more about that. It's a little bit more about the physical presence, okay? It's a little bit more about now treating the actual physical body itself as like a temple, treating this physical body as like, okay, this is yours. How you treat this is how you treat everything, right? How you treat the little things is how you treat everything. So this is yours. So this is your opportunity to take care of the vehicle, your body, that you were born with, right? And so this is your opportunity to be able to really laser in and focus on like the right eating and the right lifestyle choices and the right physical representation of what you want. Now, keep in mind, what you want doesn't have to be the same as what society judges you by. Okay? It doesn't have to be what society judges you by. Yeah. Everything is energy. It's more about this. It's more about, it's like this. It's like, could you step up your game physically? Do you have a desire to? Have you wanted to? So like, if you know inside, like, yes, I want to lose weight, I would feel better, then you deserve that. Your physical frame, your physical body deserves that. And you know you would feel better. That's like your body calling to you, saying that you would feel better if you did this, right? But then what happens is we get caught up and we ignore that sign. We ignore that feeling. So listen, if you feel like you're feeling, if you feel sluggish, if you feel like you don't have enough energy, if you feel like you want more energy, if you feel like you want to feel better about yourself, if you feel like you want more confidence, if you feel like you want more self-esteem, if you feel like you want to get a longer life with more longevity, these are all reasons, these are all fuel to motivate you to do what it takes to really get your physical frame in the right state, in the right peak state, in the right mental state, right? So part of becoming the better version of you, part of becoming you 2.0 is to do that. And so we got people like Patrick saying, cut out sugar, cut out processed crap. Everybody, so where I stand is that everybody has their different thing. And I think that it's different for everybody. So I'm not really a big fan of being too meticulous about what anybody else should do. What I like is basically finding what works for me. So what works for me is that, especially as I'm a man too, is that people are creatures of habit. So what works for me is to have a lot of go-to foods that I can go to very, very simply to be able to get my meals. And to be a creature of habit with those and not worry so much for me. Another thing that works for me to be able to take care of my body is making sure that I'm walking. Now, a lot of people like running, and a lot of people tell me it would burn off a lot more calories. But for me, what I'll do is I'll do walking while multitasking. So walking while listening to an audiobook, or walking while doing a scope, or walking while making a phone call. But I'll do like a lot of walking. Like if I'm going to do a 30-minute call, then I'm going to step up and I'm going to do a 30-minute walk. And so I'll be walking while I'm doing that. So I find ways to walk while I'm multitasking. I go to the gym, I'm here at the gym. This thing doesn't look like a gym. It looks like some mega corp. I'm going to go work out at Megacorp. But I'm going to be at the gym and I'm going to do what's called a HIIT workout, which is HIIT, which is basically I'm going to sprint for a minute, and then I'm going to jump off the treadmill for a minute, and then I'm going to sprint for a minute, jump out the treadmill, sprint, and then jump off, sprint and jump off. I'm going to do it 10 times. I'm going to break into a sweat. Then after that, I'm not even going to hit the weights, you guys. I'm not going to hit the weights. I'm going to go hit the steam room and the sauna inside of there, and I'm going to use that as my my meditation and my prayer time. Okay. And I already kind of did that when I first woke up. I did about 10 minutes of meditation when I first woke up, but I'm going to go do it inside there. So what I'm going to go do is I'm going to go do an intense workout. Is only going to last about 10 minutes. Okay. This workout, maybe when it's all said and done, maybe 15 minutes total, because getting the machine and stuff like that. You guys, in 15 minutes, I'm going to be done. I'm going to be done. And I'm going to have an intense workout that's going to be crazy. And then I'm going to go spend even more time than that doing my inner game, working on that inner game, working on that meditation, working on that prayer, working on my affirmations inside there and stuff like that. And there's not going to be anybody in there. You guys, listen, one of the other reasons I'm doing this, yeah, it's 5:40 or whatever on a Sunday, but the gym's open and no one's in there. And this is my opportunity to really get reflection without worrying about anything else. So fitness, the idea is not specifically what I do. Okay, I'm just sharing with you. The idea about fitness as one of the 5 F's and one of balance is that, what is the point of creating, let's say, wealth if you're not happy and healthy to enjoy it? Fitness is all about creating a peak state in your body. Now, that doesn't mean you have to have a specific, weight limit. That doesn't mean that society is going to tell you, oh, you got to be that size or you got to look that way. The balance there. Good morning to everybody that's just jumping on. The balance. I'm at the 4th F in the balance of the 5 F's. I talked about faith, family, friends, and now I'm talking about fitness and talking about really working on the exterior and really working on health. The interior, not the interior of like your mind, not your brain, but now we're working on the exterior and interior of your body and making sure you get balance there to make sure that you give yourself the best vehicle. And it doesn't have to be the best looking vehicle. It's just got to be a vehicle that you go, hey, I was born with this body. Am I a good steward of this body? Am I doing a good job with it? Am I treating it well? Am I giving this body a longevity of life? Am I making the choices that will give this body a long lifestyle? Am I doing my best? Is how you do anything is how you do everything. How I treat my body is also going to be how I treat my business or maybe how I drink other stuff, right? So there's a lot to that, you guys. There's a lot to that. So again, it's not about any kind of, the skinniest body can sometimes be the least fit. It's not about any type of measurement against anybody else, okay? So like, for instance, for me, I'm not really all concerned with that. I never have been too concerned with that. So since I don't get caught up on that comparison with anybody else, I just go do me. I just go do what I want to do. I'm gonna go do what I feel like I want to do, And so somebody else might tell me to do it a different way, and I can respect them for caring about me, but I'm gonna go do what I'm gonna do. But at the same time, I'm not gonna trick myself, and I'm not gonna deceive myself, and I'm not gonna lie to myself and say, oh, you're happy with when I got out of shape, okay, and I was feeling sluggish. I was feeling a little bit unhappy. I was having trouble waking up in the mornings. It wasn't as easy for me. Energy wasn't coming as easy to me. And you guys, I was lying to myself, and the even though I was lying to myself and deceiving myself, the reality was I was like 50 pounds heavier than I am now. Okay? So what happened was I saw a picture of me and I thought, that's me? That's how I steward my body? If you took a picture of your bank account and your bank account was negative, you would be like, okay, well, that's how I steward my finances. You wouldn't feel good about that. You wouldn't feel like you were a good steward of your finances if you didn't have any money. You would feel like you were a bad steward of your finances, right? So you got to kind of look at it and go, okay, I'm not saying you got to be perfect, because there's no such thing as perfection, really. There's a pursuit of perfection, but you don't have to be perfect. You've just got to recognize that, like, hey, that's part of the balance. The part of the balance is your body. Part of the balance is your health. Part of the balance is your fitness. Part of the balance is you making sure to put in the time. And trust me, you're going to feel better. Look, waking up at 5 a.m. every single morning, getting more fit, losing weight so that I'm not like deathly skinny or anything, but at the same time so that I've got a bounce in my step. I've got more natural energy. Yeah, I love coffee, and yet I haven't even been drinking coffee. I haven't had coffee in a few days. It's weird. It's like ever since this 5 a.m. thing, I used to always drink coffee, even when I wake up late. And I used to drink a lot of it. And it's like, it's this weird transformation happens where it's like, lately, I've been like thinking, oh, well, I'll just drink coffee later because obviously I'll feel tired, right? But then I don't end up feeling tired. Listen, no matter what your mind deceives you of, there are real benefits of getting in good shape. There's real benefits of all this stuff. So, Will, you're jumping on late. We covered the 5 F's. We covered faith, prayer, meditation, all this kind of stuff, and personal development, and working on your inner game. Then we covered family, which is working on your closest loved ones and making sure that you have balance there, making sure that you're not ignoring the type of people that are going to be at your funeral. These are the people that be at your funeral. These people that be at your weddings. These are the people that you're going to be supporting them in their big life events. So you want to make sure you're not ignoring that because they're close to you. You want to make sure you're finding a way to be able to balance that. Then we talked about friends, extending that, serving your friends, staying in touch with your friends, having fun with your friends, making sure you have this core group of friends around you, making sure that you keep those friendships alive. And then we started talking about fitness and making sure that you treat this body like a temple on the outside as well as the inside. So we talked about the brain, we talked about the heart and the personal development, the knowledge, the meditation, the prayer, but we didn't talk about, the physical frame. That's where fitness came in, the physical frame and, the health, the inner part of your body and what you're putting in there, and how you treat this is also how you're going to treat other things. So this is like an exercise to see how disciplined you are with life, right? And then the fifth F is finances. That's money, right? That's money. And you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy about money? The most deserving people, the people that would be the best stewards of it, the people that would do the most good with money are often the people that have the biggest problem with creating wealth. It's weird. It's like some of the people that create wealth, man, they're just stone cold, and it's like, really? More money for that person? Like more for them? The reason there's more for them is because there's a world of people out there that are deserving. They deserve it. They deserve abundance. They would do good things with the money. They would go out there and they would serve people. They would hook people up. They would help people out. But you know what? They got money problems. They got money problems, meaning that they don't have an abundant mindset. And in fact, they got issues with money. And a lot of times that comes from they're a product of the environment that they were raised in. Their parents had problems with money, or their parents instilled those beliefs in them, or maybe their friends or society did. That's where a lot of it comes from, okay? Because there was a time where the only money you had is the little money you saved, and you had to be respectful of saving, and you had to be respectful of little amounts of money because that was all you were going to have, and there weren't a lot of options. And so that passed down, and the kind of people that had a lot of wealth back in the day, they used to look down and despise people. There used to be, there still is a separation of classes, but because of social media and because of news outlets and because of this world that we live in, where at any given time anybody could really be put on blast, whether they're wealthy or whether they're poor. You guys gotta understand this. If you hung until now, this might even be part of the real message. Listen, we live in an era where anybody can be put on blast for saying something wrong, for doing something wrong, stuff like that. And of course, this. I'm not stepping into like political correctness or anything like that. But keep in mind, because of this, because of social media, because of technology, because of these news agencies that can bring whatever's happening to the masses real quick, these divisions, these massive divisions that we used to see in the past, such as racism, or such as big classes where you'd get like the wealthy elite that would look down and despise on poor people, that doesn't really, that's a lot harder it might exist, but it's a lot harder to have exist these days, right? Because this stuff can get caught on film, this stuff can get recorded, this stuff can get, so people are more cautious. So even if somebody still looks down on somebody, they're less likely to go out and say it. They're less likely to go out and get in that person's way. But history shows that people used to. History shows, man, you know, the wealthy would kick on a poor when they're down, right? They'd hurt them. They make fun of them. They'd put them in their place. But that doesn't happen anymore. You see? So the era that your parents or that your grandparents or your great-grandparents were raised in was an era where that was real for them. That was a real life experience for them. They might have gone through racism where they didn't really have choices, right? Where people were getting in their way. People were obstructing their path and obstructing their ability to create abundance in their life. And they might have had real obstruction. And people that were poor, people that grew up in a poor family, people that weren't educated might have had real obstruction, because to get employed, all you would have is these dirt poor jobs unless you were educated, and it cost money to get educated. And so it was this vicious cycle. There weren't these massive scholarships. It was this cycle where you were stuck poor, or you were stuck in these circumstances, and they were a lot more real. But listen, these days, it's just not like that. Okay? It's not like that. The reality is that there's not these big obstacles in front of you. If you want to create abundance and you want to create wealth, there's not an obstacle in front of you. There's not circumstances really preventing that for you. And of course, don't get me wrong. I'm obviously, generally speaking, every single person is an individual. So I'm not saying your circumstances don't matter. And you might very well have a circumstance in front of you right now that maybe is very real. I'm saying in general, the environment that you were raised in told you that there's these circumstances that are out of our control that don't allow us to have this kind of abundance, and the people that do have this kind of abundance are evil, and money's bad. Look at what all these people do with money. That's bad. And when you become a product of an environment like that, what happens is you're scarred, and you know what? You're probably a really, really good person. And the problem is now that money's in circulation, and that money's going to come to your doorstep, and you're going to say, no, thank you. No, thank you. I've seen what that money does. No, thank you. And then that money's going to go to the next doorstep, to the person that's not good. And they're going to say, hey, fine. Nobody wants it. Looking around, nobody wants this money. I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? Money comes knocking. And if you don't have an abundant mindset and willing to receive and feeling like you deserve it, then what's going to happen? It's going to go knock on the next door. And on that next door, what's going to happen is somebody who's maybe not as deserving, somebody who maybe already has more than they can handle, it's just going to go to their pile. And now what you actually did was, you're like thinking, okay, I'm a good person, so I don't want this. No, you actually did wrong. You actually neglected the responsibility that you could do with that money. You're neglecting the opportunity that you could go out there and make something happen with that money, that you can go out there and inspire people and change and help invoke, and help fuel, be the charge behind causes and charities, and be a philanthropist and donate and help kids and help impoverished situations, and go out there and be a game changer, and be able to help, if you like somebody who has a good message, to be able to put money behind that message, and be able to be a tool, to be able to be a vessel that has money as a resource. That money doesn't control you. You are in control. Money doesn't control you. You're not a slave to money. And to be able to free up your time so you can spend your time living life, doing your passions about you and about the service to this world, instead of trading time for money at a low-paying job. Listen, the same kind of people that have issues with money, well, they got the wrong issue with time. Somehow they're raised in an environment where the right thing to do is to go give away your time that you cannot get back for a low sum of money, so that you feel okay, that you don't feel like you're a bad person, because of money. And it just doesn't, it's just, we don't live in that era. We live in an era where money's in circulation, abundance and wealth creation opportunities are everywhere, and you could literally create as much wealth as you want. Now, it's not as easy as just wanting it. It's not as easy as just knock, knock, here's a check. But if you don't have the right abundance, if you don't have the right financial mindset, then you're not going to be ready to capitalize on those opportunities when they come in front of you. You are going to be more skeptical of them. You're going to set smaller goals that when you miss those goals, it's like nothing happens. You're going to think small. You're not going to be passionate about wanting to go out there and help others create wealth and wanting to do that. So listen, it's not all about money, which is why in the 5 F's I put that last, right? That's the way I heard it too. The guy that I first heard this from, he put it last. It's not all about money. Money is a resource. just like everything else. Finance is a resource. And listen, here's how I want to wrap that up. If you can take care of your financial situation where money no longer controls you, but where you've taken over the control of money in your life, and you start to use money as a resource to be able to do more, to be able to free up more time for you to spend with family, to be able to free up more time for you to spend in your passions, to be able to free up more time for you to spend doing the things that you love, and of course, even helping people, helping other people, serving other people. Because of that, because of all of that, if that's where you're at, you can realize wealth creation is a tool that you should add to your arsenal to be able to go out there and be the new version of you 2.0, okay? Faith, family, friends, fitness, finances. Faith, family, friends, fitness, finances. Those are the 5 F's of balance. And the key to balancing all those is to be able to make each one of those a priority on a weekly schedule. And if you can, even on a daily schedule, okay? On a weekly schedule or daily schedule. So, faith, family, friends, fitness, finances. What I mean by that is schedule in the time. Because if you don't schedule in the time, it might not happen. Schedule in the time for your faith, your inner game, your mindset, your personal development, working on your brain and your heart, your mind and your heart, okay? And for those of you that have a spiritual realm, there's another level of spirituality, okay? So your brain, your heart, and your spiritual life, right? That's faith. But even if you're an atheist, even if you're not spiritual at all, then capitalize on the other aspects of faith, because those are just as worth it, right? Family, make sure that you're balancing your family. If you're married, make sure that you're setting time aside for, date nights, and make sure you're setting time aside, making sure the foundation that you want to follow, the foundation that it's hard, but for those of you that are married, a foundation worth following, I don't want to tell you to do this, but a foundation worth following would be the book, The 5 Love Languages. The 5 Love Languages, which would be the idea of you've just worked on you. So with faith, you're working on you and you're becoming a bigger person. With family, now it's a little bit how you act and how you react. So it's a little bit more about action and reaction to the ones that are close to you. So how do you act? How do you spend your time? What's that time like? Is it quality time? And really looking at identifying what love language your spouse is. And this is for people that are married. What love language is your spouse? And how can you become better at serving that love language? And it's tough. The book goes in to say that it's tough. I mean, if you look at marriages, statistically, most marriages end up in divorce. And even the ones that don't end up in divorce, a lot of them are unhappy marriages, and they're not in peak state marriages. Peak state marriage is a difficult thing, and the reason it's difficult is because people don't understand each other's love language. The book is called The 5 Love Languages. Okay, I think it's by Gary Chapman. So the book, The 5 Love Languages, talks about you have your own love languages, and oftentimes it's different than your spouse's. And so what happens is you're oftentimes feeding your spouse or your partner your love language instead of their love language. So what happens is you're showering them with love, and you feel like you're doing a great job. But to them, since it's not their love language, it's no different than showering them in compliments in another language. Like, it's like you speak English, and it's like me giving you daily compliments in Chinese, right? Even though I might be genuinely giving you daily compliments, it's in Chinese, so you can't understand it, so you don't know how to internalize those comments. They're happening, and you're like, this guy's doing something, but it's, it's not making a dent. It's not filling me with anything, right? That's why the book, The Love Languages, talks about how people speak different languages. And so it's vital to be able to identify, and it doesn't, you guys, here's a tip. It doesn't just work with your spouse. It works with your girlfriend or boyfriend. And it actually even works with people. I mean, people in general have a love language. And, you could actually just start experimenting with giving people their love languages. Like, you might have a friend and their love language might be acts of service. As a love language, they might love it when people do things nice for them and serve them and help them with things. And so an example would be, you've got a friend like that, and your friend is moving. It's like you know they're moving, you volunteer to help them move, and you go there and you crush it out and you do a good job helping them move. Well, you actually did 2 things. You helped a friend move, but what you also did was you also literally helped them with their love language. You actually fed them twice. You fed them with the love language, and you fed them with just being a friend. And so it's just powerful. Like, and this works for everybody. Some people have words of affirmation. Like, some people have like gifts. Some people like gifts, you know, where you're buying things for people. Some people like, you know, just all kinds. There's all kinds of different things. I don't want to get too far off topic, and I got to go work out at the gym. The gym's waiting for me. All 5 people in there waiting for me. My point being, I want to wrap up with my point. My point is, part of balance is that harmonious love language stuff too. Okay, part of the balance is all that. So again, it's all about balance in faith, family, friends, fitness, and finances. Whether you're spiritual or not is irrelevant. So what I do is I schedule it out. Okay, and that's what I'm encouraging you to do. Schedule it out, set the time, because if you don't set the time, it might not happen. So an example is even little things like at the gym. This gym has a sauna and a steam room. So I'll go sit in the steam room, but when I'm in the steam room, I'm going to double up my time in there. Sure, it's a good thing for fitness, but that's also a good time for me to do prayer and meditation. Or it's also a good time for me to do affirmations, which affirmations might not be physically out loud. I might just be in my head. Or that might be a good time for me to just have silence, stuff like that, right? So there's all that kind of stuff, okay? There's all those kind of things, right? So, yeah, sign is closed. It looks like everything's closed, huh? So there's just you can find times, is what I'm saying. That's the main thing, find times. So today is going to be a busy and productive day, and don't get that wrong, because it's going to be productive in the 5 F's. A lot of people, when they say, oh man, you're busy, you know, you just work all the time. Well, they don't understand that I'm working on the 5 F's. And so I'm actually balancing everything, right? Faith, family, friends, fitness, and finances. And that's where you want to schedule. That's where you want to take your time and you want to schedule. So for all the technical questions, like scheduling, stuff like that, we'll save that for another scope. This one ran on, and I do got to get inside. It's already 6, and I do have a lot of things to do. Faith 2. I'm not sure you meant by that. Sorry about that. Did you guys enjoy the scope? If you did, throw a heart bomb on there. Throw a heart bomb, everybody. If you're still on right now and you enjoy the scope, the least you can do is tap it out. Tap it out. Just tap it out. I'll stay on for another 20 seconds to let the love flow. To let the love flow. You're a believer. Oh, are you asking me about my personal faith? Yeah, I'm a Christian myself. And you know, I wouldn't say, though, by definition, I wouldn't say I meet most Christian definitions. So, you know, if somebody were to try to put me in a box of what Christianity is, I wouldn't. And they ask me questions, they'd be like, "Wait, you don't fit that." So I don't fit the mold of a typical Christian by any means, no. But you know, we all have our own choices with what we want to do in the life, and we all have our own spiritual connections and stuff like that. So, so yeah, that's where I'm at. I go to church every Sunday. We go to a church here in town with the family, and I've, you know, read the Bible several times, but, you know, and I don't want to debate, but most Christians, honestly, I would debate with most Christians. So, you know, because I think that and I'll say this for another cast, but I think when it comes to faith, I think too many people spend time trying to tell other people, you know, what to do or what's right and what's wrong, or, you know, hey, you got to do this because the Bible says so, or whatever, or take things out of context, or there's just this whole world of things that are actually just like, honestly, it's a turnoff to Christianity. It's a turnoff to a lot of religions. And, you know, it's just, I sit there and go like, you know, a lot of this doesn't even make sense, you know? And so when I look at it, I just have a different perspective, and I'm not saying my way is any more right than anybody else's way, but I really just don't like being judgmental over people. I don't like trying to take an interpretation, a scripture, and out of the Bible, and try to say, okay, that's the gospel, that's the truth. I got to live by that one, because, you know, go read the whole book, you know, and if you're gonna live by that one, you got to live by the other ones too, where they're doing all kinds of crazy stuff and all kinds of crazy things that are no longer valid are happening too. And I also don't like when somebody else deciphers the Bible for me or something like that, and tries to tell me what it means, and tries to tell me that I got, you know, that's the real meaning of it, and that's what I got to do. So I've struggled with my faith. I've struggled with faith because that's been a struggle for me, because it's hard finding a church that's not judgmental. It's hard finding a church that doesn't try to convince me that, you know, that like I have to believe in things the way that they believe in them, and stuff like that. So for me, it's been a struggle. For me, my faith has been a struggle of really a journey a struggle might even be the wrong word. It was a struggle and then transitioned into a journey of really, for me, it's a journey of really identifying purpose and having passion and purpose and believing that there's a reason and a purpose behind what I'm doing and what I should be doing in my life, and having a spiritual connection, a layer beyond the physical realm, a layer beyond that really lets me kind of really think outside of the box of my body, thinks outside of the box of society. So from this spiritual perspective, that's a little bit more in line with where my faith is. I'm definitely not any kind of Bible thumping person. I wouldn't even, honestly, if somebody even asked me if they should start going to church, I probably wouldn't even encourage them to go to church, you know? So I'm a little bit different, right? But I might encourage them to go to like a Bible study if for some cool people. And that's kind of more of who I am, because I do believe I went and did like 6 or 7 different churches locally just to be able to find even one that I felt good with. So, because I just think that, I think that there's a big difference between having a spiritual life and having a life that's judgmental and religious. And I think I'd rather just have balance and just be cool to people and let people have the freedom that they have in this life, and let them have their relationship with God. And I can't tell them what I think God's going to do with them and what God's not going to do with them. How would I even know? Who would I be to try to guess what God's going to do to them? Like for me to go to tell somebody that, that they're going to go to hell or something like that, I would feel like that's just an evil thing for me to say to somebody. I just wouldn't do it. Why would I tell someone they're going to go to hell? To me, that's just an evil thing. You know what I'm saying? Like God's, if God wants to reach them, God will reach them. If God wants to connect with them, God will connect with them. Let people, I don't know. I'm an evangelist of a different type. I'm an evangelist more about helping people, really kind of see their true value, and really trying to tell people that there's more to them, that there's more to life, and if that leads them down a journey, where they become religious in any type of religion, I wouldn't even care if it wasn't Christianity. If they feel like that spirituality really helps them, then that's cool. I just think that, I think that when it comes to spirituality, I really think that I just don't like all that judgmental stuff that's out there. You know what I'm saying? I don't like all that judgmental stuff. I don't like, scriptures being taken out of context. I don't like all that. So that's where my struggle and my journey has been involved with, is I really like to align myself with people who actually follow in the steps of Jesus. He was just loving. He was, that's like for people that are Christians. If you're non-Christian, don't worry about it. But for people that are Christians, look, he was loving. He loved everybody. He was real nice. He was a cool dude, and he went out there and he did his job. He did his preaching. He did everything. But he wasn't this. He didn't go around bashing people. He didn't go around hating on people. He don't get me wrong. You can go and you can find scripture where maybe he did do something crazy, but that was rare. That was an instance that was rare. That wasn't an instance that was like every day he's going to go out there and bash on people that aren't like him. You know what I'm saying? And he gave people a chance. And even if they didn't do things well, at the end of their life, he gave them a chance. So, whether you're spiritual or not, the people are missing the message of love and happiness, and just caring for people regardless of their situation. So I think I would embrace a lot of churches and a lot of stuff like that more if I saw more of that. If I saw less of trying to pick and pull a scripture out of a chapter, out of a book. If they spent less time trying to pull one scripture out, because they'll pull one scripture out of the Old Testament, but then you go back in there and it's like, okay, if we go back and actually follow this word for word, then we'll be stoning people, we'll be killing people, we'll be doing these things, we'll be, you'll be violating all of these laws back then. I mean, the fact of the matter is that things were written in a certain context back then, so they don't necessarily apply now. But the one thing that transcends all of that is the spiritual connection, right? It transcends all of that. So I think, from where I'm standing from when it comes to faith and bouncing faith, that's why you always hear me say, look, it doesn't matter if you're religious or not. It doesn't matter. Faith is more than just Christianity or something. Faith is more than just religion. Faith, I believe faith is about the inner game. Faith is about you. Faith is about becoming a better person. Faith is about finding your purpose. Faith is about working on your mindset. Faith is even about personal development. It's anything about you becoming the journey of realizing your potential, realizing that you've got power inside of you, realizing that you've got passion and you've got purpose, and that there's more to this life than just trading away your time for money, or just trading away your time with something that feels empty. That's all. It's just like if people can get away from that emptiness, if you feel in a void, there's something out there for you. And that something out there doesn't have to be a strict religion where you got to follow a set of judgmental rules. That can be something that can be like a personal relationship that you have with a higher power that you know, hey, look, I can't control everything. So when times get hard and your back's against the wall, yeah, you're not going to be able to control everything. You're going to have situations come up that are out of your control, and it's helpful if you have a spiritual realm to be able to go to. It's helpful if you have an outlet to be able to go to, prayer or meditation. It's helpful if you have a way to be able to release. And it's also helpful to know, listen, it's going to be all right. Okay, it's going to be all right, because you know there's a higher purpose. You know there's a meaning behind this. And it's hard to find all of that when you're not, when you have a gap, a void in that spiritual connection. It's hard to find all of that. Okay, so from that perspective, that's why I believe faith is important, okay? Faith, family, friends, fitness, and finances. Surrender and trust in the process. And with that being said, enough preaching. And right now there's an altar call. I'm going to pass the collection plate around. You guys can throw your hearts in. Pass the collection plate around. You can throw some hearts in. Give me a 5 heart. You can give me a 10 heart. You can throw your hearts in. And we'll go from there. So just passing the heart collection plate around. You guys can throw your hearts in, because we got to grow. We got to grow this church of Chris here. We got to grow this church. Got to grow it. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that. But listen, I got to go get up. I'm looking forward to getting in the steam room, and I'm looking forward to a little meditation and a little reflection over some of my goals. So with that being said, I'll catch all you later. Thank you for all the compliments, Minister Chris Record. Thank you for all the compliments. Thank you for all the hearts. I appreciate and love every single one of you. Catch you on the next scope.